One of the tools that we use at DPP Defense for increasing critical thinking and response time is a technique that we call "What would I do?" or "What would you do?" Uh, how this works is basically you take different situations that you learn in the news and that you either see on TV or different scenarios, and you work through those scenarios in your own personal plan and how you're going to deal with it, how you would deal with it in detail, and uh, be able to go through those steps, communicate with your friends, family, and loved ones as far as what you would do, and always work through that plan through to a positive outcome. The reason why we do that is because you can remember that you can do hard things, and the body will go where the mind has gone. So the body will never go where the mind has never been. So as you work through those plans, you have to remember that you have to include uh, important details and to accommodate for different uh, issues that you may not have realized, and also qualify a lot of those plans to make sure that you can accomplish those things and that they actually are in factual uh, cases. So you have to make sure that you're not going to say, well, yeah, I'll just levitate and fly away on that situation. You have to be able to have it uh, actual possible and uh, train for that. One great situation, or one, I guess not great, but one solid, what would I do is I'd like to put this in your mind. Uh, you're shopping for some last minute things that you needed right after work. You dropped into a local store that's your everyday grocery and uh, hardware store combined. You were in there, and in this case, you just happen to be carrying a firearm, uh, and all of a sudden, when you're at the register, uh, some guy comes in the door, and he's got a handgun in his hand. He's screaming and hollering, and all of a sudden, he starts shooting in the air, and he is threatening everybody around. So, what would you do? Think about this for a second. Uh, this is not the situation that I'm thinking of actually did happen in 2014, in June of 2014 in Las Vegas at a Walmart. Uh, in that case, uh, this young man, only 31 years old, didn't realize and didn't know all of the details, which none of us will. In those situations, you have to be able to evaluate and observe those uh, what you're seeing and go off of those indicators. Uh, One important factor that you should always do before you act on anything is take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, center yourself, and pay attention to what's going on around you. Avoid and fight that flaw or that tendency to hyper focus on one thing, on that threat. Pay attention to what's going on around you and take that breath. Breath is life. So remember that. Now, in this case, back in 2014, uh, there was a young man by the name of Joseph Wilcox. And when that man came in, I'm not going to put the names of the offending party because we should focus on the heroes and focus on those that are striving to do right and good. and not give the bad guys the 10 minutes of fame or 15 minutes of fame that they so rightly don't deserve. Now, when we're talking about this specific scenario, Joseph didn't know that uh, this man had an accomplice. Uh, he didn't know that they had just killed 2 police officers in Las Vegas. And as they entered into this store, uh, they were on a murderous rampage and they were ready to cause uh, as much destruction as possible. Now, when you think about that, uh, in this situation, as Joe went to go for the lead gunman that was the most visible and the most active, his accomplice uh, shot him and fatally killed him because she had an easy shot because he was hyper focused on the initial threat. Thus, the importance of paying attention to what your surroundings are and what other signs. Now, hindsight is always 50-50, 20-20, 50-50. Hindsight's always 20-20 when you have all the facts. And as you view the videos of the 2 coming from where they had just shot and killed the police officers, walking into and around, they had the handguns in their hands, and the gal was behind the guy a little ways, so she was basically covering his back, which tactically is a sound practice. So if you're by yourself, you need to make sure that you, above all, make sure that you're safe, that the odds are hedged in your bet, because remember, if you find yourself in a fair fight, you're doing it wrong. Now, as he snuck around to shoot the attacker, he was blindsided by missing that extra attacker. So what can we do to be able to avoid that other than just take a deep breath? Now, as we work through our situational awareness and trust our gut on different feelings or different, as we feel our adrenaline start pumping and our heart rate increasing, as we train to be able to control that heart rate, understand and be familiar with your tools that you carry for self-defense, and then understand that taking that extra second, especially when you're a distance away from the threat, that you can be able to evaluate and watch through and see what other signs. And there's a reason why in a lot of the shooting community, especially in training with self-defense, that after you shoot and before you shoot, that you look around, that you pay attention to what's going on around you. Now, as you work through that, what would you do? I'd like you to put some comments down in the video and in the post. Let me know what things that you would particularly consider, as far as, would you pay attention to if there's any other people reacting to this hostile attacker, as far as other typical law enforcement, other armed civilians, as far as possible casualties that are around behind them or near them, possible cohorts that are around them. That I'd like to see some comments, and also remember to like and share, because our content is important to get out. And as you learn and add to your tools, you will make yourself, your family, and your community safer.